Have you ever heard the saying, kindness is a strength? It's true, but only when given with wisdom. Because as we grow older, something changes. Not just in our bodies, but in how others treat us. And sadly, sometimes, our greatest strength, kindness, can quietly become a doorway for others to walk in and take advantage. Let me share a story. An 81-year-old man lost his wife after 50 years of marriage. Heartbroken and lonely, he welcomed a new friend into his life, someone who showed up, listened, and seemed to care. It started with simple conversations. Then came the favors, then requests for money. And finally, the man handed over the key to his house. That trust. It was never earned, it was taken. You see, giving your last glass of water to someone in the desert might feel noble, but if you don't survive, that sacrifice means nothing. Kindness, when misplaced, is not virtue. It can cost you your safety, your peace, and even your dignity. So here's the truth I want you to remember. Trust is not a gift. It's a reward, and being kind doesn't mean being unprotected. If you've lived long enough to feel lonely, you've also lived long enough to know, not everyone deserves access to your heart or your home. Let me ask you something. Have you ever done something for someone, not because you truly wanted to but because you felt guilty? Guilt is a heavy burden, and unfortunately, some people, sometimes even our own family, learn to use that guilt against us. They say things like, "You owe me," or "You weren't there for me when I needed you." And just like that, you're handing over your pension, watching the grandkids every weekend, running errands even when your knees hurt. But let me tell you this. You do not have to trade your peace today to make up for yesterday. The truth is, we've all made mistakes. No one gets through life without a few regrets. But your worth is not measured by your sacrifices. And real love doesn't demand repayment. So the next time someone uses guilt to control your choices, stop and ask yourself, are they asking from a place of love, or from a place of need and manipulation? Being kind is beautiful, but being kind to the wrong people, that's how we lose ourselves. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt emotionally trapped by someone who always seems to be struggling but never seems to get better? Some people make victimhood their identity. They never take responsibility, never say "I was wrong," and somehow, it's always someone else's fault. They'll tell you their life is falling apart. They'll cry. They'll say, "If you just helped more, I'd be okay." So, you give. You comfort. You sacrifice. But here's the truth most people won't say out loud. They don't want healing. They want your energy. They want control. This can be especially hard if it's someone close, your adult child, a friend you've known for decades. But caring doesn't mean losing yourself. You're not cold-hearted for stepping back. You're not abandoning them. You're choosing to protect your peace. Here's a thought. Real healing starts when someone takes ownership of their life. If you're the only one doing the work, it's not love, it's emotional labor. You deserve relationships where care flows both ways. And it's okay to walk away from someone who's only calling out for help but never reaching for real change. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever said no to someone and then felt bad for it? If you're nodding, you're not alone. Many of us, especially as we get older, are taught that being kind means always saying yes. But here's the truth no one tells you. You have the right to protect your peace. You're allowed to say, "No, I can't help this time." You're allowed to say, "Please don't call late at night." You're allowed to say, "I need rest, I can't babysit today." But manipulative people, especially those close to us, may not like that. They might call you selfish, cold, or say, "You've changed." They'll make you feel guilty, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your no challenges their control. Let me be clear. Setting boundaries is not unkind. It's a form of self-respect. People who truly care about you, your well-being, your time, your energy will never make you feel bad for protecting it. You've spent a lifetime giving. Now, it's okay to say, "This time, I'm choosing me." And if someone walks away because of your boundaries, they were never really there for you to begin with. Let me ask you this. Have you ever met someone who seemed just a little too friendly, too quickly? Maybe they showered you with compliments right from the start. They said things like, "I've never met anyone like you," or "It feels like we've known each other forever." And for a moment, it felt flattering, maybe even comforting, especially if you've been feeling lonely. But here's the truth that we need to remind ourselves of. Real trust isn't built in a day. Scammers and manipulators know that time works against them, so they rush. They try to create an emotional bond before you have a chance to think things through. And once they sense you've opened the door emotionally, or even literally, they start asking for favors, for money, for access. I've seen it happen to good people, kind people who just wanted connection. But kindness without caution can become a trap. So here's a gentle rule. If someone skips the steps of building a real relationship and jumps straight to asking for trust, help, or your time, pause. You are not being rude, you're being wise. Because in this life, especially as we grow older, it's not about how fast someone enters your life. It's about whether they stay with integrity. Have you ever met someone who never says, "I'm sorry"? No matter what they do, how hurtful their words or actions, they always find a way to twist things. And if you try to speak up, they might say, "You're just being too sensitive." That's not just rudeness. That's emotional manipulation. Here's the truth. Anyone who can't admit when they're wrong is not capable of having a healthy relationship, especially with someone as kind and generous as you. An apology isn't just a word, it's a form of respect. It means, I value you more than my pride. And as we grow older, this becomes even more important. Because when someone constantly denies your feelings, you may start to doubt yourself. You may wonder, am I overreacting, or worse, is my memory failing? The chances are it's not you, it's them. You deserve people in your life who make you feel safe, not confused. Who own up to their mistakes, instead of making you feel like you're the problem. So, if someone constantly avoids accountability, especially when they hurt you, that's a red flag. And protecting your peace, at any age, is never selfish, it's self-respect. Let's talk about a truth that's hard to swallow but absolutely necessary to hear. Not everyone who helps you truly has your best interests at heart. As we age, we may need more support. And often, that support comes in the form of caregivers, neighbors, or even distant relatives who suddenly start showing up to help. But here's what you need to know. Some of them are not there to help, they're there to take. They might cook for you, drive you to appointments, or offer to help with your bills. But over time, you might notice they begin asking questions about your finances. Or worse, they get angry when you ask for receipts or transparency. That, my friend, is a red flag. Real caregivers, the kind who truly care, will never be offended by your caution. They will respect your boundaries and welcome transparency. Because love and support aren't about control, they're about trust, honesty, and dignity. So ask yourself this: if someone gets upset when you ask for clarity, what are they hiding? You've worked hard all your life. You deserve peace, not manipulation. Protect your future by knowing the difference between a helper and a taker. Have you ever noticed how some people only reach out when they need a favor? Maybe it's a call out of the blue, after months of silence. Suddenly, they need a place to stay, or a loan, or just a little help. And for a moment, it feels good, you feel needed. But soon, it becomes clear, they're not here because they care, they're here because they want something. That's not love, that's not friendship. That's using someone. Real relationships, especially at this stage of life, should never be one-sided. You've given enough. You've supported others, raised families, helped friends through hard times. Now, you deserve people who show up not because they need something, but because they care. People who call just to check in. Who remember your birthday. Who come over for coffee and not just a handout. So next time someone disappears, until they need something, ask yourself, where were they when you needed someone? Because in this season of life, your time, energy, and heart are precious. You don't need to be someone's safety net. You need to be surrounded by people who value you, not just what you can give. Have you ever had someone look at you and say, "You're old now, just rest"? Or worse, "Why bother, you can't really do anything anyway"? At first, it might sound like concern. But underneath, it's a quiet message. You don't matter anymore. And that is dangerous. Words like these don't just hurt your feelings, they slowly chip away at your identity. They tell you to shrink your world, to stop trying, to stop caring. They plant the belief that your time of being valuable has passed. But let me ask you something. Did your wisdom disappear overnight? Did your years of experience suddenly become meaningless? Of course not. You are still a person, with thoughts, with emotions, with stories, ideas, and so much to offer. No one, no matter how close they are, has the right to make you feel small. You are not a burden. You are not done. And anyone who tries to convince you otherwise might just be afraid of how powerful your presence still is. So stand tall, speak up, and remember, your worth didn't expire with your age. It grew with it. Let's take a moment to reflect. Many of us, especially older adults, were raised to be kind, forgiving, and endlessly patient. We were taught that turning the other cheek was strength, that love meant sacrifice, and that being good meant always putting others first. But here's the truth no one told us: even kindness needs boundaries. Even patience has a limit. Saying no is not cold. Walking away from toxic people is not cruel. Choosing peace over chaos is not selfish. It's wise, it's mature, it's survival in its most peaceful form. You've made it through so much in this life: grief, hardship, loss, disappointment. And now, in this chapter of your life, you don't have to keep surviving people who drain your energy and crush your spirit. You deserve better than that. You deserve calm mornings, gentle conversations, relationships built on respect, not guilt. You've done your part. Now, it's time to live, not apologize. So please, if you know someone who's still stuck in guilt, someone who feels obligated to love people who hurt them, share this message with them. They might not need another fight. They might just need permission to finally choose themselves.